members of the board, Dr. Shiflett, I'm truly elated to be here this evening to give you, I would call it a State of the Union address of the mathematics here in Hampton. When we look at the new trend line, I've been before you a couple of times before on last year, and when we look at the new rigorous standards and the new assessments and also the testing format, we see that there is a difference in the results. So therefore, at this point, we're looking at the quote from the superintendent, Dr. Wright, for Virginia, and she indicated even so that our students are not learning less. We're just expecting more of our students. So at this point, what we're doing is looking at what we've done in the past, what we're going to do differently this year than last year to increase performance. So in this presentation, what we're going to do is look at instructional focus, our math instructional focus, aligning our curriculum to the standards and assessments, making our curriculum accessible and linked its resources so that they are useful to teachers, designing and implementing common assessments to measure progress, continue building capacity of teachers, and also monitoring progress. In order to do that, we first go back to look at our focus areas. The math department in Hampton has 3 focus areas, and we do believe if we embrace these 3 focus areas, everything else will truly fall in place. One being building conceptual understanding. We do feel that every child in Hampton, every student in Hampton need to understand mathematics and build procedural fluency. We also know that problem solving need to be embedded in everything we do in order for us to have 21st century learners, as well as differentiated instruction. Every child is different. Because every child is different, we need to change our modalities. We need to look at going from the concrete to the representational to the abstract. We call that CRA model. That means students need to have hands-on. They need to also be able to look at and represent their mathematical thinking. We want to create problem solvers. Those problem solvers need to be able to connect their mathematics to real life experiences. And that's what we are embedding and embracing this year as well. So when we look at the alignment and the accessibility of our curriculum, we know that in 2009, that's when the state adopted our new standards. They were embraced last year. It was the first implementation of our new standards last year, the first year that we also tested our new standards. So this year, what's different? One of the things that we are embracing is online curriculum resources. We now have in place SchoolNet, which is a web-based program, and teachers can access their curriculum from home, as well as it links to different sites. And we also have a platform for teachers to share their lesson plans and resources. So we feel like integrating also other departments, they can access other departments' curriculum as well by the use of SchoolNet. So in addition to that, we have continued to create common assessments. Common assessments, again, through the use of, I think you heard it before, by using interactive achievement. We now have the capability of providing students with online assessments. This is the first time that we've been able to do that. For our benchmarks in the past, they have been paper and pencil. So now we have the capability of allowing students for the benchmarks, as well as for the pre-assessments to show student growth, as well as our 4.5 weeks assessments, as well as our decathlons, as well as common assessments that teachers create, as well as our department create. We can now put them online, and teachers and students can go online and take online assessments. So, in addition to that, we want to build teacher capacity. We want our teachers to feel like they are empowered. We started professional development actually the very week after school closed. June the 18th, we had our first PD opportunity. Last summer, before new teachers orientation and before pre-service, we had over 200 teachers to share in our professional development opportunities. They range from SchoolNet training. Every PD started with a little bit of SchoolNet to get teachers oriented to this new program using SchoolNet, because teachers were so accustomed to having a curriculum guide, paper and pencil. And now it's required to go online to access the resources. So we have online resources. We know we adopted textbooks this year in grade 5, grade 6, pre-algebra, and algebra 1. Each one of those adoptions have online assessments ranging from animation to assessments to curriculum and resources to other resources as well. So we are really elated that we adopted those series this year. Online, we also in our staff development, we provided instructional strategies in disaggregating the data. We noticed that one of our weak areas was fractions. So one of our PDs this summer was fraction in actions, make it, take it. And our teachers were able to go away with several activities that they could embed right away and expand, I call it expand their bag of tricks. We also started last year in March with Webinar Wednesdays. We provided webinars every Wednesday for our teachers. They were also archived in PD 360 on first and third. We did elementary webinars. On second and fourth, we did secondary webinars. We're going to continue that this year, knowing that it's going to be almost impossible to do it every Wednesday, but we are going to provide webinars throughout the year. One thing that's new that we're embracing this year would be content study groups. For every SOL subject, we are providing opportunities, sort of like CLT on the division level, for teachers across the division to come together, talk to each other, share strategies, and embrace good teaching best practice. So that's one thing that we are sharing new this year, to form content study groups. Our facilitators are going to be teachers, and once we disaggregate the data, we can determine teachers that are exceptional, our highly successful teachers, and they will be the facilitators of these content study groups. Also, we are very proud of our partnerships. We have partnerships with Hampton University. This is last year was our first year of a 3-year partnership. It's called Algebra 1 Teacher Circles. We had several teachers from Hampton to embrace that partnership. And also, we are requiring them to do staff development, train-the-trainer model for our teachers to embrace the problem-solving process. Also, we have partnership with CNU, Christopher Newport University, and it's called Service Distinction. They are pairing a student, a CNU student, with a student in Hampton. They will be working one-on-one with those students in Algebra 1. Once we find out the students, well, we know, the students that maybe scored between 400 and 425, they will have their personal tutor. And that tutor will meet with them once a week, one-on-one, to help them get up to the next level. Intervention rather than remediation. And our other partnership is with William & Mary. William & Mary has been a lifelong partner with Hampton City Schools. We have teacher study groups. Actually, it's supervisor study groups. And we meet once a month to discuss what's going on in the different localities, sharing resources, and bringing it back to our division. So I understand what happened last year, but we're moving it to a different level. We are also monitoring progress. To monitor progress, we always analyze benchmarks. Benchmarks, again, as we said before, are going to be through interactive achievement, so we can readily access the data. From there, we're going to have data meetings in the locations that we deem necessary, and we're also going to have monthly walkthrough, starting with the schools that we know, our monitor schools, and then move from there, as well as I said before, our content study groups. So I'm elated. I'm really excited about the new year. We have a long way to go, but I'm sure we're going to get there, especially with every child, every day, whatever it takes. Not just a slogan, but we want every teacher in Hampton to embrace that. Every child, every day, whatever it takes. And notice I'm wearing my I Love Math button. We want every teacher, every student to leave Hampton City Schools loving mathematics. It's not just doing something, it's understanding and preparing our students for the 21st century.